Am I a bad person for publicly shaming my brother after he skipped my wedding to play video games? I, 30 years female, had my wedding a few weeks ago to my wonderful husband. We both hate big weddings, so from the start we agreed to invite immediate family, close friends, and nobody else. The guest list turned out to be less than 20 people total. The only person who ended up not making it was my younger brother, 17 years male. My parents said he had gotten sick the night before, and while I was obviously upset, it made sense, and I felt bad for him. The wedding was still wonderful, and I probably wouldn't have remembered he wasn't there if he really had just been sick that day. It wasn't until a week ago that my husband said he had to talk to me about something and admitted everything. My brother does Twitch streaming, just playing games with his friends, and my husband follows him because he plays games too. My husband told me that, during the wedding, he got a notification on his phone that my brother had gone live and started streaming. He hadn't known how to tell me, or if he should tell me. He didn't want to ruin how happy I was all day, but he hated the idea of helping my brother keep it a secret. At first I was willing to believe it was some kind of mistake, but he pulled up a video of my brother playing some game that day. My husband explained that the game was an alpha test that not everyone could play, and there was only a few days of it. Even now I'm so upset about it. I always thought my brother and I were fairly close, and the fact that he not only skipped out on the most important day of my life, but lied about it is so unbelievably heartbreaking. I immediately called my parents, and he admitted to them that he lied. He's in major trouble with them, but I was just so angry about it that I did something I probably shouldn't have. I went on Facebook and made a post about it, calling him a lot of very mean things and explaining how hurtful it was that he didn't even think I was important enough to be honest to. I also admitted that I had picked him up from a party last year after he lied to our parents about it and that he had been drinking there. I took the post down the next morning, but the damage was already done. The entire family is arguing about it now, and it's making what should be the first few weeks of the rest of my life so stressful. My parents are furious with me for making it a public issue, and with him for how much he's lied, and the extended family is split down the middle on whether I'm being rude by making this public, or if he's a little jerk that deserves this. I know I shouldn't have made the post, but I just can't bring myself to regret it. Knowing that my own brother that I helped raise couldn't be bothered to show up for one day hurts so much, and I think he could stand to be humbled. At the same time, the entire family is in a tailspin about it, and I can't help but feel like I made this into a much bigger problem than it needed to be. EATA for refusing to foot the bill after my friends and I spent over $500 on dinner. I just went for a weekend trip with my friends, and two of my friends picked a very fancy restaurant that the rest of us were hesitant to go to but decided to have fun anyways. There were about 15 of us, and we got seated in the back, and the waitress had to pull more chairs. Before we started ordering, I asked if how many times we were able to split the bill since there were 15 of us, and usually the max is 3 set 5. She said the max was 3 ways, and they all got annoyed at me for ruining the fun. But we are all broke, so I wanted to make sure that we weren't walking ourselves into anything we couldn't afford. I ordered this dish that was around $26, and then my friend Amanda next to me ordered 6 different appetizers. BC she hadn't eaten that day since we were exploring. My other 3 friends ordered set meals that were $45. Also, we're all in high school and just on a weekend trip and camping, so going to a very expensive restaurant wasn't something I thought was going to happen. One of my other friends, I'll call her Sam, decided that we'd split into 3 groups of 5 and pay those bills, so Amanda was a part of my group. Of course I didn't say anything, and we all enjoyed dinner, but when we got the bill, it was $500 for the 5 of us. Amanda then said she didn't have her card on her, but could do Venmo or Zelle, and the 3 others in the group started pressuring me to pay the $500 since I was the only one with a physical card in the group. Plus my friends aren't the type of people to pay you back right away. There have been many of times where they don't pay me back and claim they forgot, even when it was just a few days ago. And if it was smaller items, I'd understand and not worry about it at all, but they've borrowed a lot of money from me before for things that don't matter, and I never see it again. I said my meal was $26 plus a 20% tip, and I could Apple Pay someone my total, and they could pay, but I don't have enough money on my card for $500. My money was for gas for the ride home. They called me TA since they knew I had a credit card, and they just had Apple Pay. But I asked the waitress, and she said they took Apple Pay as well. I Venmo'd my friend Amanda $46, my 26 plus, a bit more BC. The tip for the entire bill came out to way more. Now they've been calling me cheap, and I don't know if I'm TA or not. So Reddit AITA for refusing to pay for a $500 meal. I'm sorry you've had to learn this lesson, but don't forget it. There are a lot of people out there that will try to take advantage of friends to get other people to supplement their expensive meal and drinks. We had a guy that I worked with at a startup IT company who was notorious for cranking up the bill then not having money to pay. I learned my lesson when we ended up drinking a whole bottle of Patron by shots. Somehow, all of those shots ended up on my tab. Then he stuck somebody else with a bunch of food on their bill. That guy caught him and dragged his ass outside and threatened to beat him to death right there on the sidewalk. I eventually got paid back for that tequila bender. Hey, don't forget this lesson. Always ask for a separate check, as many people have recommended, especially if you're going out with a bunch of randoms that you don't know very well or that you don't trust implicitly. I'm in my 50s and I have learned that I just won't go out to dinner or a meal or even a bar with a bunch of people that I don't know very well and trust. There's almost always fuckery, and someone will almost always try to take advantage at least a little bit. People suck. Cousin offered to photograph our wedding as a gift. Now he's billing us. AITA for refusing to pay. Got married recently. My cousin is a professional wedding photographer and said, as my gift to you two, I would be happy to take the photos at your wedding. We told him we didn't want him to feel obligated to do that, or have him feel burdened with work during this celebratory weekend. He said he was happy to do it. We repeatedly expressed how grateful we were and made sure to tag his business in all our posts. We figured that was that. Now it's a few months later, and he's received our thank you note for attending and photographing. He called to say he was sorry for any miscommunication, but the gift was taking the time to put us on his busy wedding photography schedule. But we were still expected to pay. He wants $3,000. Not to sound ungrateful, but it was only him with a camera, no extra equipment or staff members. For less than that price, we could have gone with our original choice of wedding photographer who'd offered more people present at the wedding and a more advanced photography setup. We told him because he'd said it was his gift to us, we did not set aside a large photo budget and now don't have $3,000 to give him. He's basically said we're greedy assholes and don't respect his work and this and that. I feel badly about the misunderstanding, but I think it was an honest mistake on our parts, and that he bears some responsibility for the expectation being unclear. My parents think I should just drop it and pay him in installments to keep the peace. They seem to believe that I'm making this more than it needs to be. I want to stand my ground, but Aida. Write in the comments which story you liked the most, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.